Welcome back. Well, some folks are wondering what Congressman Jim Clyburn was thinking. The powerful House Democrat pretty much calling Sarah Palin beautiful but stupid when it comes to her response to the tragedy in Tucson.
Sarah Palin just can't seem to get it on any front. I think that she's an attractive person. She is articulate, but I think intellectually she seemed not to be able to understand what's going on here.
Joining me now, our power panel, conservative columnist and Fox News contributor Andrea Tintaros, former Democratic congressional candidate Krystal Ball, and Sam Bennett, who's the CEO of the Women's Campaign Forum. All right, so let me start with you, Krystal, on this. Newcomer to the power panel. And you ran for Congress as a Democrat.
I did.
You did not prevail, but you gave it the old college try. And now this is a Democrat. This is Democrat on Republican violence.
Yes.
And he basically says she's pretty, but she dumb.
It's extremely offensive. It's the sort of thing that typically happens to female politicians. They get put in the pretty but stupid boxes, one of the regular boxes that they get put into. I experienced similar things during my campaign, so I can say firsthand.
It's so easy to marginalize, especially when they're pretty.
Absolutely.
Like, she's so pretty, but she's a dum-dum.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is I'm really honored to be sitting next to this one because we defended her when she ran for Congress. And she knew what I went through when I ran for Congress. Double
Krystal, you may recall, had some saucy pictures from the college years that got used against her. They weren't so bad, but people made an issue out of them.
But the truth of the matter is that when even you do a mildly sexist reference, such as Clyburn just did, that's just as deleterious to a voter's confidence as very highly messages stuff.
What is more damaging, to say she's attractive or to say intellectually she doesn't understand? Which is worse?
Research shows attractive. That's the damaging part.
It's a backhanded compliment.
That's
it's not a compliment
That's right.
at all.
That's the damaging part.
But look at this. But Sarah Palin is a former beauty queen. She is not somebody who shies away from having her looks being.
But to mention it here,
I get the double standard. We talk about Hillary's cleavage. We talk about Michelle's arms. We don't talk about men the same way.
We talked about Hillary's cleavage.
Remember when she was on the floor and wore too much cleavage?
Have been on maternity leave for that.
Even getting beyond that, if we're talking about civility in politics, part of being civil is not attacking one another personally. Talk about the issues, talk about the platform, that's fine.
But is it a personal attack to say, because when he says she doesn't seem to be able to understand what's going on here, we've actually heard a lot of that, saying, does he get it? Does she get it? I don't know that that's unfair, but the part about setting it up with she's attractive.
In the workplace, if a colleague would say that, you know Megan is a lawyer, that would be a lawsuit.
It's like, here's her one thing. Oh, and she's articulate. And she's kind of pretty, but and then the bomb gets dropped.
Yeah.
All right, so Mr. Clyburn, no more
civility.
Okay, moving on. Pregnant woman, not yours truly, but another friend. Not really, she's not a friend, but I feel for her. Michelle Lee, 29, walks into a bar in Roselle, Illinois, and they kick her out of the bar. Not because she's not drinking. I mean, she's not drinking, right? She's not boozing it up. But because they say, we don't serve pregnant women here, so get the heck out. And the bar is standing behind what it's done.
Yeah, total discrimination, though, under Illinois law. But the bar owner, from the bar owner's point of view, let's say she would have had some drinks. She would have snuck her drinks. You and I go to a bar, you'd never do this, Megan, and you say, give me a Cosmo. And you start drinking, and then you have, say, birth defects or a fight breaks out and you're hurt. You tell me a lot of women would sue that bar. And so in the private,
that if she was sitting there getting drunk, okay?
That's the reality. But how do they know she's not getting drunk?
Classic overreaction to a concern about liability. Total overreaction.
Absolutely.
And this bouncer, being empowered to do this, I don't think so. No, I'm totally ridiculous.
I can say for me firsthand,
Totally
one
ridiculous.
of my best friends from college got married. Her bachelorette party, one of our girlfriends was 8 months pregnant. She came along, she drank water, she went home early. It was fine. We all had a good time.
Yeah.
And we all would have been very upset if she'd gotten kicked out.
She could very easily not have been drinking water.
But she wasn't drinking. If the facts were she was sitting there getting completely smashed,
different. It's a
and
totally
then they threw her out.
different
That's what.
But you know how bars operate.
If she was, I'm sorry, it was a bar. People drink in bars.
And you don't have to drink an alcoholic drink.
Yeah, but you drink in bars and you drink alcohol. The liability that she represented was no more exposure than anybody else drinking.
Let me tell you
That was
when I was pregnant with my first child, my husband and I went out to a bar. and he got a mojito, and he got a beer, and I got a non-alcoholic mojito, but it's served in a glass that looks like.
Did you get dirty looks? Did you get
So
dirty
all
looks?
these people are walking by, and I was pretty pregnant. I walked by looking, and I said, "Virgin," and my husband said, "Honey, they know it's not a virgin." Okay. Moving on. Now we understand that teens. We're going to talk about bullying in Kelly's court because there's something awful happened to this girl in Florida. But now teens are taking bullying so seriously, so afraid of it, that they're getting plastic surgery to change their noses and their breasts and all sorts of physical features just to make it stop. Having been bullied, I almost feel empathetic. You know, it's like you'll do anything to make it stop. But is it right?
Well, it comes down again to we have a real crisis in this country with young women thinking that their only value is the way they look, how pretty and thin they are. And so, you know, even if you get the nose job, then is there going to be something else?
Of course
that
there
you're
is.
Of course.
They're not really making fun of your nose or your breasts. It's something about you that makes them feel threatened.
And it's the same reason that we have such an epidemic with eating disorders in this country.
Absolutely.
Young women who only value and think that the world only values them for their looks and their appearance.
But I would say the best thing you can do besides advocating for anti-bullying laws is parents to build self-confidence in their kids. I mean, look, my nose looks just like the statues on the Acropolis, okay? And before prom, Megan, I got really tan, and this girl Jasmine called me two tanteros. I go get I said, "Hey, Jasmine, you're just jealous. Beat it." I mean, if you build self-confidence in your kids, they're not as apt to say, "I want a boob job," or "I want a breast reduction." And when they're adults, if that's what they want to do, let them do it.
But what if it really is a very prominent feature? You know, some people have like enormous noses, or some young girls have enormous breasts that are stand out in terms of their peers. Would you consider it as a mother? Is it?
I have to tell you, I think research shows, Dr. Mary Pfeiffer, great book, Reviving Ophelia, if you guys have read it, awesome. And what she points out to, the key is the parenting. Young women, there's an epidemic in this country of young women cutting themselves, self-destructive behaviors. And what she says is, what you have to do as a parent is you have to provide high control and high acceptance. And that's exactly what you were saying.
My mom built such a healthy environment for my sister and I, my brothers and I, that, you know, we weren't susceptible to bullying, even though we were.
We also have to make sure we're combating sexual harassment in the classroom, which can also contribute to that view.
It's different to make fun of a girl's nose versus to make fun of the breasts. Legally, it's actually
and also it's all part of that work that we did around campaigns this past cycle, which is it's not acceptable to talk about a woman the way Sarah Palin, Christine O'Donnell, Nancy Pelosi was castigized in a sexualized way.
You got to be very careful. All right, quickly, speaking of talking about women in a way that's not necessarily nice. Camille and Kelsey Grammer are having a very ugly divorce. He goes on Leno, was it Leno or Letterman? Letterman last night, and basically says, "I got a new girl and I'm getting married in February." You might think he's a cad unless you've been watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, in which case it's very hard not to be on his side. Nonetheless, she goes on the Howard Stern show yesterday and suggests this.
You got to come back and fill me in on more details of what it's like when your husband walks in and says he wants to put on a dress. I want to know.
I want to know when in the relationship that first showed up.
That was a gift to me. That was a super special surprise.
I mean, I'm tempted to laugh, but then I remember they have 2 kids. They've got 2 kids. He's going on Letterman talking about how he's going to get he's not even divorced, he's going to marry somebody else in February, and she's talking about him being an alleged cross-dresser.
Well, on last night's episode, so I've heard.
Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it for me yet. I haven't yet watched it.
But she does make reference to, "I'm so worried about my children and their relationship with their father," and then she goes and tries to defame him and talk about how he's a cross-dresser. You're getting $50 million from this divorce, Camille. Shut your trap.
You gotta be.
Shut your trap.
What goes on in the marital bedroom is completely off limits.
Even if it's a brutal, ugly divorce.
Yeah,
but, you know,
absolutely.
The real truth is exactly what you said. What's the impact on the kids? Nobody's thinking about the kids.
How are you doing them a favor? I always think about that when you see like these nannies leave these celebrities and then trash them. And I think they must have hated those parents so much because, you know, they're really hurting the children. When you come out and you bash somebody like that, it's the kids who really get hurt.
And Camille has 4 nannies, by the way.
She does? 4. I thought she only had 1 per kid.
No, 4.
It's 4.
And a house manager.
I have to.
I've heard.
I have to. I was just telling the ladies before we started this. I've never watched that series, Real Housewives, till now. So I can't pull myself away. All right, great panel, Sam, Krystal,
Thank you.
Thank you all so much.